Namaste. This is the third part I'm doing in the series on understanding our core. In case you have not watched the first two parts, I'll post the links to those parts in the description box below. Please watch those, then you can understand this particular video better. In case you have not taken the Enneagram test, I'll post the link to the Enneagram test in the description box below. Please take the Enneagram test. If you understand what your personality type is, you will benefit more from watching this video. In today's video, I'll be discussing about spiritual suffering, how each personality type experiences it, why does it happen, how does it happen, and how does it help us to evolve. In my last video, I spoke about how from animal state, the person takes on the first lifetime as a human on earth. During this lifetime and in later lifetimes, he carries a lot of those animal traits or animal behaviors within him, and he is constantly stuck in the fight and flight mechanism because he looks at the world through fear, through the lens of fear. And because he's looking at the world from the lens of fear, he takes on certain ideas, certain behavioral patterns to cope with the external cruel world. Later on, this soul moves towards one of the many directions that are available to it, and it takes on a personality type. When it takes on a personality type, it has a combination of tamasic qualities, rajasic qualities, and sattvic qualities. Slowly, over many more lifetimes, the person starts evolving using his higher discretion. Now, his fight and flight mechanism does not get triggered as much as it used to get triggered in his earlier incarnations. Slowly, he comes out of his animalistic behavior and he takes on the sattvic quality in that particular personality type, and he practices that sattvic quality in his daily life. This way, he has developed a core of good qualities, and once he has developed this core, his lessons on earth are over. When we join school, we are allowed to study to a particular level in your school. It could be 10th class, it could be 12th class. Once you've passed out, there's nothing for you to do in that school. You have to move from your school to college. In the same way, think of earth as a school. Once you have learned your life lessons, once you have polished your personality to a certain extent, you have completely overcome all your lower animal instincts, then your lesson on earth is over. There is no need for you to take any more further incarnations. This will become your last lifetime. When you polish your personality to such an extent that it has refined totally, this will automatically kickstart the spiritual awakening process within your body. This goes on till you have experienced the self. You have gained mastery over yourself. You gained the knowledge that earth life can provide, this human physical body can provide you with. Thereafter, you move into your light body. So, when a person is growing in the direction of a particular personality type and is trying to refine it, at the end of this refinement is a product which is very sattvic in nature. For example, if you take a coconut, when the coconut is small, the fruit is not formed inside it. If you open a small coconut, you will only see layer over layer of uh, petal like structures, but there's nothing inside it, no core inside it. This core gets developed over many weeks or months, and once the full ripe coconut is available, The core is formed. You have the coconut water inside and you have the coconut inside. To gain access to this coconut water and coconut inside, you have to first peel away the husk. You have to dehusk it. In the same manner, once the sweetness inside our core is formed, the external husk, that is the ideas we have, the behaviors we have adopted, the belief systems we have, the many roles, labels, identities we carry, all these things need to be peeled off. And after peeling off all these things, you have the external shell. That too has to be broken. And that is when you reach the core. That is your inner sweetness, the inner cool, sweet coconut water and the coconut. This particular sweetness, which is there innately in you, this has been developed over many lifetimes. So the entire spiritual evolution process is about developing this inner core. And once this inner core has developed, you do not need the external layers. So you have to dehusk the external layers. And how do you do this? You tell yourself that I am not this, I am not this. You are disidentifying from your stories, your beliefs, your behaviors, your pain, your fears, your desires. The moment you start disidentifying from all these things, it is like dehusking the coconut. These are all external layers, unwanted layers. And as long as those layers are there, your ego will keep on repeating the same behavioral loops, the same painful stories, the same trauma, the same roles. The ego keeps you trapped in the lower chakras. So you need to override your thought process. You have to see how your behavior is affecting you and others around you. Do an analysis, use discretion, and change yourself to the extent that now you are able to comfortably dehusk the unwanted layers from your system. The method I just spoke about, only those people who have a personality are capable of doing this. If somebody has a narcissistic personality disorder or they have sociopathy or psychopathy, it simply means that their new souls and their personality is not yet developed. They are like that young coconut which has no core inside them. So they cannot use this technique. They will take many more lifetimes to evolve. And in case you're watching this video or any other spiritual video, it simply means that you have a spiritual core. People who do not have a personality core or uh, a level of inner development, they will not be interested in spiritual topics. They are more externally focused. They are chasing their desires. They are busy fighting their enemies or amassing wealth or troubling others, playing politics. So, such people will not be interested in the matters that are connected to the spirit. They will take many more lifetimes to even think on those lines. Because, as I said earlier, the personality is the bridge to the seat of the soul that is there in the Agya Chakra. So by the time you dehusk the coconut and you are able to access the inner coconut and the sweet water, your Kundalini Shakti will be residing in your Agya Chakra. When a person is evolving in a particular direction, he is building the bridge of personality. The bridge of personality is not originally there, it has to be built over many lifetimes. And that is why you will see that this is not there in a narcissist or in any person who's of the lower animalistic egoic nature. You will not see any personality in them. You only see an endless list of bad qualities or deception in them. You will not see good things like kindness, love, peace in these people. It will take many more lifetimes to develop such qualities. So when this bridge of personality is being formed and the person is moving in a particular direction, he will experience the various impurities or malas as pain or as an inner emptiness at various levels. I spoke about these malas in my previous video, the Anava mala, the mayiya mala, and the karma mala. If you think of the universal consciousness as a sea, we each one of us are a drop of that sea. The individual consciousness is a drop of that sea. If we call the universal consciousness Paramatma or Brahman, then every drop is the Jivatma. And where does the Jivatma reside in the human body? Right to the heart. 2 digits right to your heart is the place where your individual consciousness resides. The Jivatma sits here and it is witnessing your incarnations through many lifetimes. So, what are these malas or impurities? When we get cut away from the source, that is, when the drop of water separates from the universal consciousness, the sea of universal consciousness, there is a break that happens. So it takes on an impurity because it is cut away from the source, it forgets that it is connected to the source. And this impurity is called as Anava. Later on, it gets caught up in Maya, illusion, and it takes on the mayiya mala. And the third mala it takes on is the karma mala. That is, it is caught up in the cycles of life and death, and it takes on karmic baggage through many lifetimes that further tie it to the earthly existence. So these are three different malas that we take on in an order, top down. Now, when we are evolving, we move bottom up. That is, first you have to deal with your karma mala, then the mayiya mala, and the anava mala. So when this bridge of personality is being formed, you will experience these impurities or malas within you as pain, as some kind of emptiness, as some kind of neediness, a feeling of not being loved, not being valued, all these different deficiencies which you feel is because of all these malas and impurities which are there within you. And these are very deep within you in your subconscious mind, so they are not accessible to you. You will only gain access to these things when your subconscious mind opens. That is why an average person is not even aware of these things. He has no idea that there's a Jivatma residing within him. It is only when the bridge of personality starts developing and the person starts realizing that there's something within him that is deficient, he tries to fill this inner emptiness or inner deficiency by searching certain means or certain things external to him and his physical world. He will think, okay, I don't feel loved. So let me see if there is somebody in my life who can love me. He does not understand that this deficiency of not being loved comes from a much deeper level of impurity. To understand that, the bridge of personality should be totally developed. But when it is halfway developed, the person feels this pain, this deficiency in many different ways. When it seeks external means, he looks out into the external world, he looks for things, material things, or maybe a person, certain situations, certain ideal factors in his life that will make him feel good inside. He feels these things can make him feel good inside. But once he's achieved those things and that state still continues, that is, his inner deficiency is not filled, it is still there. And that is when he turns towards spirituality. This pain can be experienced by us at different levels. That is, at the physical level, it can manifest as various ailments of diseases. At the mental level, it can be there as negative thoughts at the emotional level. We may have to deal with a wide range of negative emotions. Apart from that, at the collective conscious level too, if you're living in a society which is not spiritually developed, then a lot of pain from the cultural conditioning, social conditioning comes in, because you are now taking on a behavior which is against the normal way of living. So your family may not approve it, your society may not approve it. You're walking against the flow. So you will have to make certain changes in your life. You may have to keep certain people away from your life. You may have to unsubscribe from certain social ideas. You may have to distance yourself from certain social norms. And doing all this will also cause a lot of pain within you. Ultimately, this pain which we experience, for which we find reasons external to us, the source of all that pain comes from within us. It comes from our own malas, from our own karmic baggage, from our um, mayiya mala, and from the Anava mala. Many people, they may look very peaceful and happy on the surface, but once you scratch the surface, you will see a lot of pain. For a new soul, they are also suffering because they are constantly caught up in their fight and flight mechanism. They're looking at the world through fear, and that fear is experienced by them a lot. For that reason, they cannot be happy and they will not let others around them be happy. When this bridge of personality is getting constructed within the person, when they start reaching the higher rungs of this ladder, they start experiencing a lot of soul pain. They do not understand from where this pain stems, but they feel it very intensely. If you look at the life of poets, philosophers, saints, you read their life history, there's a lot of pain, trauma, suffering. If you read the life of Gautama Buddha, there's so much of suffering in his life. He had everything in his life. He was a king. He had all the wealth in the world, every possible comfort, but there was so much suffering inside of him. A person can experience this level of suffering only when his personality is totally developed. And now he is in the highest rung of the ladder of the bridge of personality. Once he is at this level, nothing from the external environment can assuage his inner pain. That is why they become more inner directed. The answer or solution for the pain or this excessive trauma they experience can only be found within, and it cannot be found externally in the outer world. Apart from this, when somebody is undergoing this transformation and they've reached the higher state of development, there are certain tests at that level. If you're undergoing a Kundalini awakening or you're in a higher state of spiritual awakening, the universe will test to see how much you have evolved. It will test you to see whether you live by ethics or not, whether you have learned your lessons totally or not. It will check to see if you're still corruptible or not. These tests can come in the form of painful relationships. They can come in the form of poverty. They can come in the form of bad people in your life, or they can even come in the form of a lot of money, wealth, and fame. Once all that comes in, that person might again fall down into lower egoic nature, because now he's got all that money, he may leave his spiritual practices aside, and then he might want to live a very happy life, pursuing pleasures. Once he does that, he again goes down to the lower chakras. So the universe will test you at this level, and they are very, very difficult tests. There may be tests where you may have to forgive your worst enemies, the people who ruined your life. And then when they are not even sorry for it, you may have to still forgive them. Added to all this, the electromagnetic field around the body is changing. Now, because it has to process more information, it has to carry more energy. The various systems in the body, the chakras, the energetic patterns or vibrations in the body are aligning, they're working together. For this reason, your electromagnetic field is widening and opening up. If you do not know what an electromagnetic field is, then I'll post the link to the video on this topic in the description box below. Please see it, you will understand what I'm talking about. When this electromagnetic field is opening up, your earlier egoic structures, they're getting dissolved. And in that place, new structures which carry your new vibration are being formed. When this is happening for a certain period of time, your defense mechanisms are down. This is a situation where the country's defense line is down. That is, the soldiers are not present at the front. Then what will happen? Trespassers will walk in. Soldiers from the neighboring country will attack. In the same way, when our electromagnetic field is undergoing changes, we become very attractive to narcissists, to takers, people who want to trouble you or bully you. You become more attractive to them. And they start entering your life, and you'll be wondering why all these people are there in your life. You will experience relationship problems. You might experience abuse. People may cheat you. They may take advantage of your good nature. This expanding of electromagnetic field and the temporary coming down of the defense mechanism of the body is necessary as part of the spiritual evolution. This is a phase. It can last for about 10 years or 20 years. After that, your electromagnetic field gets stronger. Your original structures, egoic structures, were replaced by the more spiritually advanced structures now which support higher vibration. This will help to clear away your karmic baggage. It will teach you life lessons. It will allow you to learn lessons on protecting your energy or protecting yourself. Because by the time the person defines his personality, he is sattvic in nature. Even though he is sattvic in nature, he needs to retain a little rajasic quality. If he does not have the rajasic quality, then he cannot work in the external environment and he is not able to protect himself. For this reason, lessons on self-protection are taught to you as part of your spiritual evolution process. So that once you have polished or refined your personality, you still retain the ability to protect yourself and you understand the importance of protecting yourself and your energy. The pain one experiences during spiritual evolution, it gets stronger as we start evolving higher up. The reason why you need to experience this intense pain, intense trauma, this intense suffering, and for you to experience this intensity, bad people come into your life and trouble you. When you have a lot of trauma to process, when the external situations or events are not in favor of you, when you have to experience a lot of financial problems, a lot of social issues, all these things bundled up, they increase your pain further. And the reason why this happens is for a rocket to zoom out of Earth into space, it needs a lot of fuel or energy. That fire has to be intense. In the same way, all this pain, this high intensity pain, what it does is it is fueling you so that you can shoot out of your lower egoic structures and move into higher states, very high state where you again integrate your energy, you get back everything, and now you are using that energy for the benefit of mankind. So when somebody reaches the seat of the soul, they are out of the lower egoic nature. They've come out of all their personal stories, the trauma, everything. They know how to protect themselves now. And here, the identity, I am this body, or I am my thought, or I am my emotion, is nearly gone here. The person moves away from selfishness to a greater degree of integrity where he thinks of the common good. And hereafter, he lives at this level doing service to the society, doing good things to society, and trying to help others also evolve spiritually. As I said earlier, we all are a drop of that ocean, the ocean of universal consciousness. When we separate from the source, we take on impurities. The first one being Anava, the next mayiya, and third karma. When we separate from the source, we start fragmenting, we start dividing further within ourselves. And how does this happen? We take on many koshas or bodies or layers. And again, we take on many different chakras, that is, a body breaks through different dimensions. Then there are grandhis or knots within the nadi system so that we do not go back to the source. We need to untie these knots to evolve spiritually. Further, our brain gets divided. It gets divided into three levels, that is, the lower reptilian brain, the middle limbic brain, and the upper cortical brain. Then it gets divided into the right brain and the left brain. Then the energies within us also separate and they divide as masculine energy and feminine energy. The left side of your body is your feminine energy, the right side is your masculine energy. Then you are divided between your lower egoic state and then the upper, more spiritual level, which is now beyond your reach because you are now operating from the lower egoic state. You take on this complex ego structures with the antakarana, the mind, the instruments of the mind. Then there are these thoughts, emotions. We are now trapped in maya, this illusionary maya. And the only way out of this is through spiritual evolution. And you even forget that you're trapped in maya, which causes more separation within you or more fragmentation within you. Then we are fragmented over many lifetimes. What I mean by fragmentation is when we were part of the universal consciousness, we were unlimited power, we were unlimited energy, we had this unlimited awareness. Once we have separated from the universal source, our energy has become limited, our experience has become limited. Because of this limited experience on earth, we are losing our energy, and the energy is lost and locked at various levels in various structures. Further, being trapped on physical dimension, we are caught up in many lifetimes. We take on karmic baggage now. We are trapped within the cycle of time and space. Our original nature is beyond time and space, but now we are caught up in time and space. So we are born, we live our life, we have our old age, and then we die, we are again born. We have many things to pursue in this small life that we have. We have to study, we have to work, we have to have relationships, children, we need to buy things, we need to make sure we are comfortable, we have to do something for the society. A lot of responsibilities in the small lifetime. And then added to this, we have our individual differences over religion, culture, society. People are divided by country, ethnicity, ideas, thoughts, ideologies, many more separations, many more partitions. Added to this, we have many identities, labels, many roles that we play. We experience hunger, we experience disease, we experience pain, trauma, and this physical body is so fragile it can break down easily. Nearly 25 to 30 years of a lifetime is it's spent in growing up and gaining the ability to work and take care of yourself. People generally look inwards once they've crossed 29, 30 years of age. After that, they have about 25, 30 years where they can healthily pursue some spiritual practice and evolve. After that, they are into their old age. So, a lot of limiting factors and a lot of fragmentation. Added to this, we have a lot of fears, pain, desires. All these things further fragment our energy into different compartments. So now we have to come out of all these fragments. We have to bring back our energy together. And you start that by first disidentifying yourself from your ideas, your behaviors, your roles. Once you start disidentifying from all these, you're taking back your spiritual power which you have invested in all these things. So you're reversing the fragmentation process. And once you start reversing this fragmentation process, what happens is firstly, the karma mala gets dissolved. Once you start disidentifying and living by ethics, you have learned your life lessons. There is no need for you to carry any karmic baggage. Your total karmic baggage is stored in your causal body. This karma, it becomes blockages in your nadis and it does not allow your life force to turn and move upwards. In a normal person, the life force moves top down. As long as it is moving top down, the person is caught up in the lower chakras. He is living world externally. He is cut off from source. And the Kundalini is in the Muladhara chakra. For the Kundalini to move up, first your life force has to turn upwards. And what is stopping this life force from moving upwards is the blockages that are there in your nadis in the form of karma and the knots, various grandhis that are there in the nadis. So once you have learned your lessons on earth and your personality is polished enough, there is no need for this karmic baggage. So what happens? Kundalini burns up your karmic baggage. How does that happen? There is a small explosion that happens at the base of your spine, and this explosion moves through the central channel. You can see this in your third eye, and it is felt like an explosion through your body. It rocks your body, it moves up your spine. When this happens, all the karmic baggage which is there in the central channel, it is swept to the sides and it comes out through the sides. You can see it in your third eye like a very black greedo leaving your body. That is the karmic baggage which was there for many lifetimes is burnt up. Earlier to this, the person was living from the fight and flight mechanism. The amygdala is what uh, triggers the fight and flight mechanism. And the person used to see the world from fear because the external world is cruel. He had to protect himself, so he would look at the world through the lens of fear. Now, this energy that shoots up your central channel, it moves into the head, it makes changes to the brain chemistry. Now, the amygdala takes a back seat, and your response to the external stimuli that you experience is different. The way you process information coming in, even bad information, even cruel information that is now entering into your system, is processed differently by you. Earlier, you would see things as good and bad. Now, you no longer see things as good and bad. You start understanding that there is good mixed in bad and bad mixed in good. The way you look at the world changes because now that mala or the impurity of karma or karma mala is gone. Because of that, now your discretion is working better. This karma mala is called as pain body. So dissolving the pain body helps you to take a more authentic look at life. While the karma mala is working out, you will see that your left and right side of the body are integrating. That is your masculine and feminine side. When the energy moves into your head, you will see that your various brain divisions that were there earlier are now integrating. A lot of activity is happening inside the brain, which is integrating the various parts of the brain. Higher centers open up. A normal person only uses about 3 to 4% of the brain. The remaining brain is dormant. Now, this brain also starts opening up. So, there's more integration happening. When this integration is happening, the Kundalini Shakti, now because the Karmamala is removed, she can now come up and reside in the Vishuddhi Chakra or the throat chakra. This is Shiva. There is a legend in the Puranas that Shiva swallowed poison for the benefit of the world. But he did not swallow it totally, he held it within his neck. And that is why he is called Neelakhanta, that is the blue throat one. So the poison, it turned his neck blue. And he holds that poison there because in his inside his womb is the entire universe. If he swallows the poison, the entire universe will perish. For that reason, he holds it within his throat. This story will help you understand the role of Vishuddha Chakra in your life. Vishuddha Chakra is the transmutation point. By the time the Kundalini Shakti reaches the Vishuddha Chakra, the person has come out of the very lower egoic emotions like hatred, especially hatred. So once Kundalini is in the Vishuddhi Chakra, you are more capable of transmuting your negative emotions, negative thoughts into positive emotions and positive thoughts. So this is like a machine which converts the bad into the good. To cross this Vishuddhi Chakra and move upwards, a person has to totally give up hatred. That is the first change you will notice within you. Now we are not divided across religion or culture or ethnicity or status. You start seeing everybody and treating everybody equally. You do not see somebody as inherently bad or somebody as inherently good. You understand that there is this Maya and things happen in Maya. You understand and study the Maya. You gain knowledge about how Maya works in a person's life. And you start further integrating your energy and moving upwards. When you move into the Agya Chakra, the Shakti comes and sits in the Agya Chakra. By the time Kundalini Shakti comes and sits in the Agya Chakra, you have moved out of mayiya mala. That is, now you've gone beyond the play of Maya. That impurity has also fallen away. You now understand how Maya works. Maya, if you think of the external world as a video game, then Maya is a programmer. The certain rules by which the game is played. You understand the rules of the game and you know how your personality is affected by these rules. So now you play the game without getting affected by the rules. You know how to override Maya and play the game of life. You are the boss of your life. Maya can no longer trouble you. So by this level, you have come out of your karma mala and you have come out of your maya mala. At this level, you realize that all that suffering came from the identity of I, identifying with the body, with the mind, the emotions, all the stories that you told yourself about your past, all the fears which you had for your future. All this was there because you identified with the physical body and the mind. Now we have gone beyond that. You're no longer the same person. Your earlier stories no longer trigger you. Your earlier life was just a learning experience, and you're thankful that the most disastrous things happened to you. If they would not have happened to you, you would not have changed or evolved to this level. Next is the Anava Mala, that is the impurity that we take on because we are cut from source, and this manifests differently in different personality types. You will experience this even more once your personality is totally formed. This impurity will cause so much suffering that you will turn inwards to search for truth. Type 2 to type 4 are very emotional people. So during their emotional process, they will have to process lot of emotional baggage. There will be a lot of crying, a lot of pain to process. These are the people who have a lot of experiences with narcissistic abuse because they do not know how to protect themselves from narcissistic personality disorder type people. Later on, they become very good at doing that. Then personality types 5 to 7, they are more of the thinking type. So these people are bothered by a lot of thoughts. They can distance themselves from emotions. So the thing that bothers them the most is the thoughts, and they live their life inside their head. And the type from 8 to 1 are more, they live by more by instinct. They think less and act more. And generally the underlying emotion is anger. Now each of these personality types experience Anavamala differently. The universal consciousness is all powerful. It is bliss, love, it is beyond time, it is whole knowledge, it is creativity, it is courage, it is strength, it is perfection. Once the soul reaches a level where it can experience this disassociation from perfection, each of this personality type will experience this disconnection from the source differently. And this pain that comes from this is the Anavamala. or the impurity. Type 2, they will experience this pain as being disconnected from love. They feel that nobody loves them or nobody values them. So, to get love or to get others to value them or appreciate them, they do a lot of favors to others, small help. They are there for their friends, for their family, so that they will love them in return. And these are the ones who dream of that, dream lover. It could be a Prince Charming or that beautiful woman who will come into my life and then she will fill my life with her love. These kind of dreams are there for the type 2s. For them, being loved is the most important thing. When the bridge of personality is being constructed internally, this deficiency of not being loved is projected externally. So they think that something from the outside environment can fill the gap which is there inside of them. So they look outside for an ideal mate or ideal partner who will come into their life and love them. Or they may seek that kind of love from their family or friends. They need to feel special. To feel special, they need that love and affection from people around them. Otherwise, they feel that their existence has no value. But once their personality gets developed and they realize that the external world cannot give that perfect love which this person is thinking of, then they realize that they are actually experiencing this pain because they are disconnected from universal love. So, how does this impurity get removed? This impurity gets removed when Kundalini Shakti moves from the Agya Chakra and it moves up. You have the Makara point. This is the Agya Chakra. The point you see here in the middle circle, the top of the circle is the Makara. This is the 0 point. When you enter into this point and move upwards, all the lower worlds they vanish. The entire physical dimension will vanish. And now you move into higher states of consciousness. When you're moving into higher states of consciousness, you start experiencing states of samadhi. Samadhi also has various grades, from a lower grade to a higher grade. What happens in the state of samadhi is your individual consciousness is merging temporarily with the universal consciousness. It is experiencing the universal consciousness. And this happens many times till you have evolved totally, till you have reached the highest state of realizing the self. When you go into samadhi states and come back, it is like this drop of water. It is going and bathing in the sea and it is coming back. So the mala, which is the Anava mala, that gets removed. Because now this person is able to access the universal consciousness and is able to bring down that energy into this body. The disconnection which was there earlier, that is the person being disconnected from the source, that disconnection is gone. When that disconnection is gone, the Anavamala is gone. At this stage, this person has come out of the Karmamala, the mayiya, and the Anavamala. That is why when you see yogis who have reached this level, you will see that they live in states of bliss. Satchitananda is what it is called. They are always experiencing the bliss of the divine, the love of the divine, the knowledge, the all pervasiveness, all the qualities of the divine are seen in them. So the Anava Mala is removed in them. Type 3. They experience Anava Mala in the form of being disconnected from the light of God. And this comes out as a deficiency where they seek to be the center of attraction. Many of them, they want to work in movies or be on top of the stage, or they want to be in places where a lot of people will watch them or see them. They feel very happy when they are the center of attraction. But once they move up the spiritual ladder, they lose interest because they understand that all this attention will not assuage their pain. So they move internally. And when they move internally, the primary thing that they express is the divine light of God is more visible in these type 3 people. There is a story of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had no interest in sitting and being the spotlight or getting people's attention. But wherever he sat, people thronged. They wanted to see him because he had this amazing brilliance about him. There was a lot of light emanating from his body, and people wanted to see it. So that way, type 3 people, once they evolve, they express that aspect of God. Whatever was their Anavamala, that is the expression of divine once they have spiritually evolved. Type 4. They experience disconnection or Anavamala in the form of loss of harmony with the external environment, and they're even cut off from God's immense power to create. These people feel lost, disconnected from God, and they like to disconnect themselves from others around them. They want to see themselves as something special. They are this, a very dejected poet, or maybe this person is so special that the world does not see or does not recognize the specialty that this person has. So they experience Anavamala in this form. Once they have overcome this impurity, they become the very embodiments of God's creativity. They are able to live in harmony with the external environment. They are able to express the or understand and express God's presence in every being. Type 5. They experience Anavamala in the form of disconnection from God's abundance and God's knowledge. So, when they are evolving, they are frugal in their way of living, and they try to fill their inner emptiness with knowledge. In many situations, they fake knowledge. But once they have come out of this Anvamala, the universal knowledge flows through them. And many people who are spiritually evolved and are of type 5 personality, they can download a lot of universal knowledge and gift it to the people of earth. They have that ability within them. Type 6. They experience Anavamala as of survival fear. They identify with the body, and because the body is perishable, it is temporary, they are worried that they might get hurt, that they can fall into some danger. They come out of this mala when they realize that they are not the body, that they are the soul, and that they are imperishable. When they understand this, they express the courage, which is the expression of the divine. Type 7. Type 7 does not have much trust in the natural way things work. They want to plan everything. They want to plan everything and they need a lot of stimulation. They are cut off from the idea of living in the moment or in the present. They're always living in future, trying to plan something else in the future. And this is because Anavamala in them, the disconnection expresses itself as not being present in this moment. The God's power is beyond time and space. That restriction here is visible in type 7, where they experience the limited ability of time a lot, and they want to plan out that time so that they get the maximum out of it. Once they spiritually evolve, they do not plan ahead for stimulations, rather, they stay in the moment. They understand that they are beyond time and space. The physical body is caught up in time and space, and they learn to live in the present moment and value this moment right now. Type 8. Type 8 experiences Anavamala as disconnection from God's strength or God's power. And this deficiency in them, it expresses itself as the need to control others, the need to control external events, situations, dominate others. So they do not care how their ways affect others. Rather, they are all about controlling, getting things into their control because they want to be seen as very strong. Inherently, they feel weak because they're disconnected from God. So, to maintain that external facade of being strong, they boss around. Once they are spiritually evolved, they learn to surrender to God and they express the strength of God, and they understand that the strength should not be misused or displayed unnecessarily. So they understand the strength that is there within them, and now they are authentically very strong internally and they express God's strength. Type 9. They think that they have no inherent value or inherent worth. It is because they're disconnected from the source and the Anavamala works like that in them. But later on, when they spiritually evolve, they realize that they're the very bliss of God. They express the bliss of the divine in the external world. Type, type 1, the former perfectionist. The Anavamala in them, it works in the way that they experience this disconnection as being disconnected from the perfection that God is. So they always seek perfection within them, they seek perfection in people around them, and the external events, the world. And when it is not perfect, they get angry. Once they spiritually evolve, they become an embodiment of God's perfection. Whatever form the Anavamala exists in a personality type, when that impurity is removed, they express the highest potentiality of that particular mala as an expression of the divine. So, where type 2 experience the lack of love because they were disconnected from the source, when they are totally connected with the source, they go into states of samadhi, they return, then they express the love of the divine to the external society. You can take the example of Mata Amritanandini, the hugging saint. She goes around hugging everybody and giving God's love to everybody. Each one of this personality type evolves into a different type of saint, and each saint expresses one aspect, one or two aspects of the God or the divine to the external world. That way they benefit the external world. So whatever type your Anvamala is, once you transcend it, whatever you experienced as a deficiency within you, now you have that so much in abundance that you're able to give it to people around you. So these three malas They keep us tied down to this limited experience as a human. We have the ability to overcome these three malas. And once we overcome these three malas, we become an instrument of the divine. In today's video, I spoke about the various malas and how these malas keep us trapped in this physical body, in this physical dimension. And part of the process of evolution involves taking our power back, the power which got fragmented over many lifetimes, over many different bodies, many different thoughts, emotions, karma, many things fragmented our energy, our soul energy. So now we have to reclaim our energy. And as we reclaim our energy, we move up the spiritual ladder. And once we reclaim our energy totally, we come out of all these impurities which gave us this limited physical experience. Thank you.